Hello and welcome. Namaste from New Delhi. I'm Gautam Roy and this is DD India. You're watching Express News, where we get you the day's top 100 developments in just a flash. Let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated the transformative Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla rail link, that's the USBRL, to the nation in Katra, marking a new chapter in India's quest for seamless connectivity. Prime Minister Modi visited an exhibition which was put up explaining the USBRL project. The PM also interacted with the workers of the project there. Prime Minister Modi also inaugurated the Chenab Railway Bridge, the world's highest rail arch bridge, marking a historic milestone in India's infrastructure journey. The PM was briefed about the Chenab Rail Bridge project upon arrival in Jammu and Kashmir. The architectural marvel Chenab Rail Bridge, situated at a height of 359 meters above the river, is the world's highest railway arch bridge. And the PM also inaugurated the Anji Khad Bridge in Katra, that's in Jammu and Kashmir. This bridge is India's first cable-stayed rail marvel. The PM also flagged off two Vande Bharat Express trains, one from Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Katra to Srinagar and another in the reverse direction. Prime Minister Modi also interacted with school children on board the Vande Bharat train. He also interacted with members of railway staff who are on the train in Katra. He also addressed a gathering in Katra in Jammu and Kashmir, where he called Operation Sindoor a turning point, saying it struck deep inside Pakistan, leaving terror camps in ruins. Prime Minister Modi also said that the Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla rail link project is a symbol of a new empowered Jammu and Kashmir and a resounding proclamation of India's growing strength. He further said that the Chenab and Anji bridges are a living symbol of India's power on the inaccessible hills of Pir Panjal. Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said that the milestone was achieved due to the steely determination, hard work and laser-sharp focus of Prime Minister Modi. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar hosted the foreign ministers of four Central Asian nations at the 4th India-Central Asia Dialogue in New Delhi on Friday. In his opening remarks, Dr. Shankar said that India's ancient cultural ties with Central Asia have blossomed in a modern dynamic partnership. India's global outreach on Operation Sindoor is now in its final leg. In Washington, D.C., the delegation led by Congress MP Shashi Tharoor engaged with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance on counter-terrorism cooperation. In Belgium, the all-party delegation led by Ravi Shankar Prasad held a range of engagements across political, diplomatic, diaspora and strategic spheres. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar arrived in Shimla on a two-day visit to Himachal Pradesh. The VP will interact with researchers and faculty members at the Vyas Parmar University of Horticulture and Forestry in Solan. India's Supreme Court has allowed the National Board of Examinations' request to postpone the NEET PG 2025 examination to the 3rd of August. The exam was initially scheduled for the 15th of this month. The Enforcement Directorate conducted raids at the residence of Bollywood actor Dino Moria, besides 15 other places across Mumbai and Kochi, in the alleged 65 crore rupees Meethi River desilting case. Commander-in-Chief of the Northern Army Command, Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma, visited Basantgarh in Jammu to review the security situation. Lieutenant General Prateek commended the troops for their operational readiness towards fight against terrorism. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has participated in the inaugural program of Shaurya Mahotsav in Chamoli. The event was organized in the memory of Nayak Bhavani Dutt Joshi, who died during the 1962 India-China War. Reserve Bank of India Governor Sanjay Malhotra on Friday announced the reduction of repo rate to 5.5% after the Monetary Policy Committee meeting. The RBI also projected that India's retail inflation for the current financial year would be at 3.7% against its April projection of 4%. The RBI governor said the real GDP growth rate projected for this year, 2025-26, is 6.5%, continuing with the earlier forecast. The central bank also reduced the cash reserve ratio by 100 BPS and said it will release 2.5 lakh crore Indian rupees of bank funds in 4 stages between September and December. Indian equity indices traded in a jump on Friday. At close, the Sensex surged 741 points to settle at 82,183. The broader Nifty also saw 249 points to close at 25,000 on Friday. The Indian rupee ended 13 paise higher at 85.66 per USD on Friday as well. Gold futures maturing on the 5th of August were priced at 97,842 per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for the 4th of July maturity also stood at 1,05,460 per kg on the MCX, that's in Indian rupees. Tesla shares rose on Friday after reports came that White House aides have scheduled a call with CEO Elon Musk to broker peace with US President Donald Trump. Russia launched a barrage of missiles and drones across Ukraine on Friday, killing at least 4 people and damaging buildings in capital Kyiv. The Ukrainian Air Force said that Russia attacked with ballistic missiles, cruise missiles and drones. The attack came after Russia vowed retaliation for an audacious Ukrainian drone assault. US President Trump and billionaire Elon Musk engaged in a public spat online. Trump targeted Musk's companies as government subsidies. President Trump said he was disappointed by Musk's public opposition to the sweeping tax cut and spending bill, while Musk said that without his support, Trump would have lost election. Harvard University challenged Trump's move to bar foreign students from entering the United States and asked a judge to block it immediately, pending further litigation. The Trump administration imposed sanctions on 4 International Criminal Court judges who have been involved in proceedings against Israel and the US. The ICC called the move an attack on judicial independence. Several right-wing groups organized a pro-government rally outside Israeli Supreme Court in Jerusalem. Demonstrators gathered to support government's policy and judicial reforms. The Israeli military struck several sites in Beirut's southern suburbs that it said was an underground facility used by the Hezbollah for drone production. Israel posted a warning ahead of the strikes on X. UN chief has urged world leaders to keep alive two-state solution to the Israel-Palestinian conflict. He expressed his disappointment over US vetoes and UN draft resolution demanding immediate ceasefire. South Korea's new president Lee Jae-myung attended a ceremony marking the country's 70th Memorial Day on Friday. He honored veterans at the ceremony and pledged support for their veterans. Jurors in film producer Harvey Weinstein's rape and sexual assault retrial began deliberations on Thursday, weighing the credibility of 3 accusers who say the former producer attacked them between 2022 and 2013. Portugal will raise defence spending to 2% of GDP this year, reaching NATO's target 4 years early amid growing pressures ahead of the summit. French President Emmanuel Macron has hosted Brazil's Lula da Silva at the Elysee Palace in Paris on Thursday, celebrating bilateral ties. Lula pushed for support of the installed EU-Mercosur trade, which is a deal, while Macron called for improvements first. Healthcare workers in Garrahan Hospital in Argentina marched to the government house on Thursday demanding fair wages and better conditions amid a deepening standoff with the government. Hundreds of members of religious and social groups marched in El Salvador to demand the release of jailed human rights activists and protest the return of metal mining recently approved by the Congress. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has accused Donald Trump of believing lies after new US travel bans and increased pressure on Venezuela, calling for an end to the smear campaign. IAEA Chief Rafael Mariano Grossi led a team of inspectors to Damascus on Thursday, gaining immediate and unrestricted access to sites linked to Syria's past nuclear activities. Zambia mourned former President Edgar Lungu, who died for complications after cancer surgery in South Africa. He led Zambia from the year 2015 to 2021 and then had an brief political tenure after coming back. South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has declared a state of emergency after deadly cattle raids killed hundreds amid clashes over scarce resources. The UN reports over 200 deaths in March and 80 more recently in Tonj County. Voters in Burundi's capital, Bujumbura, cast ballots in elections set to strengthen the ruling party amid opposition bans and concerns over fairness. Time now to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a flash, so stay with all the flashy news here on Express News.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back, and we're back with Express News. Let's take things forward. Now, the number of victims of the Assam floods have dropped from 6.3 to 5.6 lakh across 19 districts, and the death toll has risen to 16. Receding waters have reduced the number of affected villages. The Indian Met Department has issued yellow alerts for northeast India with heavy rain likely in Assam and Meghalaya. 6 rivers remain above danger level as rescue operations continue across the region. Members of a First National community in Manitoba were flown into Niagara Falls after wildfires intensified across northern and eastern Canada. At the Niagara Falls, evacuees are adjusting to unfamiliar surroundings while grappling with trauma from the past and present fires. Many say material losses can be replaced, but human lives cannot. Farmers in northeast Syria were warned of severe losses as drought and rising temperatures devastate wheat crops. Once the nation's breadbasket, the region now struggles with climate change and water scarcity. Some Syrian farmers have reported losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, blaming poor rainfall and soaring costs. Many warn they may be forced to abandon their fields, raising fears of poverty and hunger. Residents of Aralung rural municipality in Nepal's Panchtar face renewed hardship as the monsoon begins, raising fears of floods and landslides in the area. In Nepal, last year's heavy rains washed away 4 key bridges, cutting off villages and displacing many. Efforts to rebuild infrastructure are still on. Guatemala ordered evacuations near the Fuego volcano after increased ash and lava emissions. The volcano erupted on Wednesday, sending lava flows up to 7 kilometers far. Ash columns from the Fuego volcano reached 6,000 meters, triggering an orange alert and sheltering over 500 people. Activity may last 40 hours, disrupting air travel and suspending classes in Zacatepec. Muslim pilgrims performed Eid al-Adha prayers and tawaf, walking 7 times around the Kaaba at Mecca's Grand Mosque as the Hajj pilgrimage nears its end. Palestinians performed special morning prayers at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque on Eid al-Adha, marking the end of the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. Muslims in Indonesia's Bogor joined nationwide Eid al-Adha prayers on Friday, though many noted fewer animal sacrifices this year amid rising unemployment and economic hardship. A wild elephant strolled into a convenience store in Thailand's Nakhon Ratchasima province near Khao Yai National Park. The Thai store owner said that rangers were called to escort the well-known wild elephant after it entered a store to snack on eggs and fresh food. Construction of the first cable car in Mongolia's Ulaanbaatar is expected to finish by December 2025. A French firm has delivered all equipment and most foundation work has been done. The line will run from Yarmark to Kharkhorin Market with 19 pillars and 2 stations. The trial run has begun in December, which is aiming to ease the city's traffic congestion, especially when someone really special is driving. Now, Mexico's National Museum of Anthropology has reopened after staff shortages. The 1940 founded institution recently won Spain's 2025 Princess of Asturias Award for Concord. Rio de Janeiro's Christ the Redeemer was lit in green on Thursday to mark World Environment Day as part of a week-long awareness campaign by the sanctuary. Sri Lanka marked World Environment Day on Thursday, highlighting the growing human-elephant conflict threatening people and wildlife. Grammy Award winner Beyonce Knowles brought the rodeo Chitlin circuit to London, paying homage to black contributions to country music as she began the Cowboy Carter tour in Europe. Sony Music India and LA-based the Hello Group have launched THG India, a joint venture aimed at providing Indian artists with comprehensive management services. Ed Sheeran sings with Shah Rukh Khan and Arijit Singh in a music video for Sapphire, released on Friday. Ed Sheeran's new single is a part of his upcoming album Play, which will release in September this year. American writer Stephen King and director Jack Bender have joined forces for a new TV thriller, The Institute, based on King's best-selling 2019 novel by the same name. The show premiered in London on Thursday. Big Hit Music shares comeback plans of K-pop band BTS's RM, V and Jimin and Jungkook's post-discharge greetings. Acclaimed filmmaker Ang Lee is set to direct Old Gold Mountain, an adaptation of Pan Zhang's debut novel, How Much of These Hills is Gold? Actress and film producer Viola Davis, known for Doubt, The Help and How to Get Away with Murder, is set to star in the conspiracy thriller Ali Clark. Actor Tom Felton, who rose to prominence as starring as Draco Malfoy in all of the original Harry Potter film series, is set to make his Broadway debut, reprising the same character in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Hollywood actor Tom Cruise has earned a Guinness World Record for performing the most burning parachute stunts in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Searchlight Pictures have confirmed that the sequel to their 2019 horror film Ready or Not, titled Ready or Not, Here I Come, and is set to have its theatrical release on the 10th of April next year. Coleman Domingo, Paul Tazwell and Sean Bankhead are to be honoured at Native Son Awards on the 11th of June. Singer and actor Jennifer Lopez's Kiss of the Spider-Woman trailer has released on Thursday. The movie is set to release on October the 10th this year. Oscar-nominated actor Samuel L. Jackson is set to star in Tulsa King's spin-off Nola King as part of Taylor Sheridan's universe. Singer and Grammy Award winner Sabrina Carpenter's new single Man-Child, co-produced by Jack Antonoff, has released worldwide. Singers Adnan Sami and Asha Bhosle sang Aao Na featuring Isha Singh and Avinash Mishra, and that has released on Friday. Now in a blockbuster contest, world number 1 Yannick Sinner will face reigning Olympic champion Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals of the French Open on Friday. In another semi-final, Carlos Alcaraz will try to keep his title defense on track as he takes on Lorenzo Musetti on Friday. World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka ended a 4-time champion Iga Swiatek run at the French Open to set up a title clash with Coco Gauff on Saturday. World number 1 Magnus Carlsen will face Indian Grandmaster Arjun Eragaisi in the deciding 10th round of the Norway Chess Tournament in Stavanger City on Friday. World champion D. Gukesh will aim for his maiden Norway journey or chess game with the title of triumph when he takes on American Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana in the first round on Friday. Indian ace javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra is set to compete at the Paris Diamond League, scheduled to take place on the 20th of June. India's men's doubles pair Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty were knocked out of the Indonesia Open after losing quarterfinals on Friday. Wicketkeeper batter Jamie Smith has replaced Phil Salt in the England tour for the 3-match T20 series against the West Indies. South African Rob Walter has been appointed as New Zealand's cricket coach in the wake of Gary Steed's decision to stand down after 7 years in charge. Australian fast bowler Mitchell Starc is comfortable with his decision to leave the Indian Premier League regardless of any repercussions. Spain's teenage sensation Lamine Yamal led his country to a thrilling 5-4 win over France and has taken them to the third successive Nations League final. And Brazil was held to a goalless draw against Ecuador in 2006 South American World Cup qualifiers in Guayaquil City. Uzbekistan qualified for the 2026 World Cup for the time being after a goalless draw against the United Arab Emirates. South Korea booked a spot in the 2006 World Cup with a 2-0 win over Iraq in Basra. Ali Olwin scored a hat-trick against Oman to help Jordan book a berth in the 2026 World Cup for the first time. And that's all we have in Express News in this edition. But for all the latest, keep watching DD India. I'm Gautam Roy and just stay with us.